With 5 games to go for Arsenal to try and break their 22-year trophy drought, with the hopes of the Premier League title slipping through their fingers, and even if they go 5 wins out of 5, it's still in City's hand. Courtesy of the goals scored, that's all that separates the two teams. And the Arsenal fans, management and the players must be wondering how they have let this get to this stage where it's in City's hands now. And Arsenal can only hope that they keep winning and City somehow slip up. The two teams and the Arsenal fans, management and the players must be wondering how they have let this get to this stage where it's in... Well, interesting from Mikel Arteta's point of view that he's gone with the same attacking lineup that started the game against Manchester City. Now, we've seen this from Arteta before where he almost wants to be proven right for past mistakes, for the lack of better word. It did not work against Manchester City despite Arsenal having played better football, but lost that game. It had to be a win for Arsenal. It wasn't a draw either, with Kai Havertz getting the nod over Victor Gyökeres. Again, that is a massive call from Mikel Arteta. Look, he has brought back Kai Havertz after his long-term injury. He started 3 games back-to-back in the number 10 position. Now it's 2 games in a row and he's now the number 9. It's almost like Mikel Arteta is trying to find a solution with Kai Havertz in the final stretch of the season. And in that manner, he has left Victor Gyökeres on the bench. Look, Arsenal have a good mix in terms of their front four. They've got pace out wide, a little bit more so from the right-hand side with Noni Madueke. But Noni Madueke's performances has been flattering to deceive, to say the very, very least. I mean, the production is nowhere near that. They spent 50 million quid for him and the returns simply haven't been there. Bukayo Saka is on the bench, which is a huge boost for Arsenal, but Bukayo Saka himself isn't getting into this game in the best of forms. Only 6 Premier League goals, despite the number 7 having plenty of injuries this season. It's a Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, number 9, number 10 combination here. They had that opportunity against Manchester City when the game was at 1-1. Kai Havertz was through on goal and he simply had to score. You don't want to pin all the blame on Havertz, who did have a very decent game, but you cannot miss the chance. And right towards the end, when Arsenal needed something out of nothing, a free header over the crossbar, and how costly that'll prove out to be, because if you give City an inch, they will take a mile. I think from Arsenal's point of view, the pressure will be on because it's back-to-back defeats heading into this game, but they've got the perfect opponent to play here. I mean, Newcastle are heading into this in some of the worst form imaginable. It's 3 losses in a row for Eddie Howe's men. That Barcelona 7-2 spanking in the Champions League still fresh for the Newcastle players and management. And their only 2 victories in the last 5 games has come against a hapless Chelsea and Manchester United. So against the quote-unquote bigger sides, Eddie Howe's men do look to turn up. But if you look at their attack, I mean, it flatters to deceive. I mean, I do like William Osula as the centre-forward because neither Johan Wissa nor Nick Woltemade has worked consistently for Newcastle. Now, I'm not going to be the first one to say that I watch Newcastle week in, week out, but when you spend nearly 70 million on Nick Woltemade and 50 million on Johan Wissa from Brentford, the fact that William Osula is getting the start is a great positive for the, I mean, I want to say kid. I think he's 24 years of age. I'm not really sure. But ahead of Wissa and Nick Woltemade, certainly interesting. So, but there are options on the bench. Both teams have a very solid bench heading into this game. I mean, if you look at the Arsenal bench, they've got Trossard, Gyökeres, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli. Those are 4 very decent options. Miles Lewis-Skelly as well. And as for Newcastle United, no Anthony Gordon. He's got a hip injury by the looks of it. Arsenal fans, well, they'll be keeping an eye on the goal difference as well. It's all about getting victories here. Well, the midfield 3 of Newcastle is where there should be a very strong Joe Willock, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, the skipper. Now that is a very solid enough midfield three for Eddie Howe's men. No Joe Linton still, but that midfield three is as good as it gets from Newcastle's point of view. The back four, though, now that is a huge call there from Eddie Howe, because he's got Dan Burn as the left back up against Noni Madueke. Now, Madueke might have a lot of faults, but he has got pace to burn. That certainly is an interesting call from the manager. Malik Thiaw and Sven Botman, that works. And on the right-hand side, there is no space for Kieran Trippier, and it is Lewis Miley, the academy boy, filling in at right back with Nick Pope in goal. So, interesting calls. Look, Arsenal's form hasn't been bad whatsoever, but it's the month of April that has completely spooked them. It's 1 win in 6, and that was a 1-0 victory away at Sporting in the Champions League. Since then, that Bournemouth defeat really did open a chink in the armour, and it all started from that Carabao Cup final where Manchester City beat Arsenal, and not just beat them, but beat them emphatically. So that would have just opened the eyes of the rest of the teams, knowing that they are beatable. And the 4-3-3 from Eddie Howe, they've got Barnes, Elanga, Voltemade and Johan Wissa as the 4 options of attackers, and Kieran Trippier and Lewis Hall as the 2 fullback options. I mean, those 2 might have started and should have started, I think. Very interesting that Trippier and Hall can't find a spot in the starting 11, considering the pace and trickery of the Arsenal wingers. Well, simply put, from Arsenal's point of view, they have to win. They simply have to win. No more excuses. They've got players back. They've got some firepower on the bench. But if you look at the front 4, there's not too many goals. I think that's 10 Premier League goals between the front 4 of the Arsenal front 4. So they have not been clinical. Yes, they've not been on the pitch together for most parts of the season, especially with Eze now on the left-hand side and Odegaard back in. That battle will be very, very interesting. Martin Odegaard versus Bruno Guimaraes, the 2 skippers. Bruno Guimaraes, I'm a big fan of him, but he has had a dip this season. Seeing his side in 14th this season, it's been pretty poor from Newcastle's point of view. Expected to push on, considering the amount of money they spent on replacing Alexander Isak. They went in, got Voltemade, Wissa and Anthony Elanga. Nobody touches the pitch today. They're on the bench though. Might work for them. From Arsenal's point of view, it's the same front 4. The midfield pivot of Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi. I'll keep mentioning this over my stream because Zubimendi started all 33 Premier League games and Declan Rice 32. That is a lot of mileage between the two, and they will be almost isolated with Odegaard expected to push forward, especially in the opening 20 minutes where Arsenal simply must score, or that anxiety will build in the stadium. We are ready for kickoff. I've given you the big build-up. Let me know what you think in the comments the scoreline would be. As long as it's a good Premier League game and the title race is going on for longer and longer, better. But look at that, man. Manchester City and Arsenal, 33 played, 70 points each, and their goal difference identical, plus 37. Manchester City are only top because of the goals scored. So Arsenal will be keeping an eye on it, but it's all about the victory from the Gunners' point of view. Newcastle looking to spoil the patty and add some more wounds. I mean, some sickening wounds if Arsenal drop points here today. We're going live, and this is going to be a cracker. Hincapié and Ben White as the fullbacks for Arsenal certainly is an interesting dynamic. Arsenal might be building with a back 3 when they do get the ball. Getting almost Ben White to go forward, and it's an early chance here. It's Osula. It's an air shot from him. It's fed in perfectly. Arsenal cut open, 20 seconds on the clock. Nearly the nightmare moment. That was perfectly into the path of Osula. He makes any sort of contact, and it's possibly Newcastle leading in the very first minute. Oh, Arsenal, what are you doing there? Those kind of moments just bring so much anxiety. Game's open, man. Can you believe it? I mean, Arsenal have not kept a clean sheet in a long time here. And see, this is a game where Noni Madueke, he's got an ideal 1v1 opponent here in Dan Burn. Dan Burn's got a lot of size, presence, and an experienced Premier League defender. But Madueke has got so much pace over him. So you expect him to beat him on the outside a lot of times. So Sven Botman will have to come across on numerous occasions to make sure it's not 1v1 for Noni Madueke to enter into the box. Osula, what a chance, man. Just make some contact. He just struggles to get his bearings, and it's so sad from his point of view. Getting that big shout here to start ahead of Nick Moltomada and Johan Wissa. Here's Odegaard up against Sandro Tonali. That midfield of Newcastle is strong, mobile, powerful, very workmanlike midfield and a lot of quality, with Bruno Guimaraes capable of not just crashing the box but also finding the killer pass. Interesting start. It hasn't gone as smooth sailing as expected. Newcastle have come to play. They literally have nothing to lose. They just have to go and give their fans something for this season, man. It's been a real disappointment from them, but an opportunity to play against whatever the best the country has to offer in Arsenal. But decent start, very decent start. Decent start. Very decent start. Nearly 3 minutes on the clock. Arsenal yet to get going. Have to get going. And this is what I saw against Manchester City as well. Martin Odegaard dropping between the centre halves. I mean, what is the point of Declan Rice and Zubimendi if your captain has to do that? Here's Sandro Tonali. Guimaraes! Oh, it's over the crossbar. What a strike from the skipper. Arsenal have started this first 3 minutes in a nightmare fashion. Tonali finding Guimaraes. Oh, he hits that well. Well, Arsenal could not have started this game any worse. Osula with the air shot. Guimaraes with a fizzer. Woo! Bruno Guimaraes giving a warning shot. And that's what the Arsenal midfield there, again, they are not doing both their primary jobs. One, progressing the ball and closing the spaces. It's a gaping hole. And I'm going to talk about the Arsenal midfield throughout the stream. 33 games for Martin Zubimendi and 32 Premier League games for Declan Rice. They are going to get run in midfield here. Going with someone like Joe Willock as well. Former Arsenal, so he's going to have a bit of, I won't say grudge, but every player who leaves Arsenal does feel like they have a point to prove. Here's Jacob Murphy on the outside, up against Piero Hincapié. Jacob Murphy, good defending there by the Ecuador left back. Well, Arsenal do have him on loan, and the question will be, will they pull the trigger and activate that €50 million clause that Bayer Leverkusen have on him? Another defender for Arsenal. The running joke is they do invest a lot in defenders. Calafiori, of course, which means that someone like Miles Lewis-Skelly might have to make way if he wants regular playing time, especially at left back, because it does feel like Hincapié and Ricardo Calafiori are ahead in the pecking order in that department. A big game needed from Declan Rice. We talked about mileage in the legs, but still needs to give quality. I mean, every time you just want to have a look at his performance, I've been having a close watch in the last couple of months. It feels like a lot more defensive. Playing as that number 8 on the left-hand side, he doesn't give enough going forward. Yes, he's got a wicked set piece on him. But other than that, in open play, you want to see more from him. Arsenal on the attack here. Space opening up. Odegaard taking an age to release the ball. Now finds Kai Havertz. But now Newcastle have plenty back. Havertz forced to check his run. Martin Odegaard, that is very curious, but it's a corner for Arsenal. That's the first bit of attacking play that Arsenal have done. 5 minutes on the clock, and it yields them a corner. Well, strange from Newcastle's point of view. It's just a lofted ball forward. Here, Martin Odegaard has to release Kai Havertz. I mean, Havertz was his own half. Would have been onside. He could have carried the ball. I mean, it's a wasted effort there. But they do have a corner. Arsenal in open play have struggled. Set pieces. That is slightly dried up as well. First goal going to be absolutely massive. And Newcastle have had two good opportunities, mind you. William Musula and Bruno Guimaraes. But neither testing Raya. Arsenal take it short, surprisingly. Oh, it's a poor corner, really. Oh, Martin Odegaard has not started this game well either. That is such a lackadaisical pass. Why do Arsenal take it short here? But it's Madueke. Enters the box. Decent ball in. It's cleared away. It's another corner for Arsenal. Back-to-back corners as Malik Thiaw guards that central area for Newcastle. Only Madueke will have plenty of 1v1 situations up against Dan Burn. It's going to have to take on the England, well, fullback today, but generally operates as the left-sided centre-back, but it's Sven Botman today for Newcastle. Malik Thiaw, again, I've seen him in big games, does really pull up a big shift, but Newcastle's defensive record suggests that they have not been good in that department. Can Arsenal take it short? Here's Odegaard. Finding Eberiche Eze. Eze with the drive and he pulls it wide. Eberiche Eze wants a corner. He's not going to get it. And Arsenal have taken back-to-back short corners. First one was poor. This one at least yielded a shot, but again, very surprising considering you got Gabriel Saliba in the box. Kai Havertz is there as well. He's an aerial threat. Did score against Manchester City, mind you, despite thinking about it taking a deflection of Kai Havertz and not a Newcastle player. Good call from the ref. Nearly 8 minutes on the clock. So Newcastle have slightly shaded it in the early stages, but Arsenal have gotten going now. Run from deep here and Madueke, and he's got the burst of pace. Brilliant sliding challenge there from Malik Thiaw. Excellent work there from the German. Well, he's going to have to do that time and time again, because he knows on the outside Madueke has got rapid pace and he can cause problems all afternoon long for her. It's going to be difficult, and that's why the likes of Thiaw and Dan Burn will have to make those moves. Third corner for Arsenal. Starting to slightly open up in open play. I don't think this time they're going to take it short. Certainly has to put the ball into the box now. Again, the usual suspects. Can Arsenal take it short? This is not the time to try and experiment. Eberiche Eze! It is sensational! Oh, what a strike that is from Eberiche Eze. Finding the corner. Arsenal's short corner routine works this time. And in emphatic fashion, 1-0 to Arsenal. Oh, that was a terrific strike, man. You saw Bruno Guimaraes trying to do that early on. He tried to find the far corner. Eberiche Eze nails that. He came very close to scoring against Manchester City. This time, wow, what a finish. I think it was Kai Havertz who just lays it off and Eze does the rest. That is unstoppable. It is a brilliant finish from the number 10. What a time to score. Considering Arsenal were under the pump. Ah, that is a class finish, man. He's used the pace and he's just curled it away. It's a peach of a finish. It's a special goal and Arsenal needed that. And let's lift off at the Emirates Stadium with 10 minutes on the clock. £60 million spent. 7 Premier League goals now for the number 10. The short corner routine works for Arsenal. Well, Newcastle can't be discouraged here. They would have seen what they have done here, but now it's important from Arsenal's point of view that they capitalize on this momentum. Yes, Eze. It was such a curious decision, wasn't it, when Mikel Arteta hooked Eberiche Eze off at the Etihad Stadium. He was just starting to play some good football. He struck the base of the post, and then to take him off was such a curious decision, man. Expect Eze to play all 90 minutes today. As it stands, but this was the point, right, that Manchester City play on the 5th of May, if I'm not mistaken. By then, Arsenal would have played against Atletico Madrid and twice in the Premier League. So there's an opportunity here for Arsenal just to put that psychological dent on Manchester City. Fort Knox, though, from Pep Guardiola's men. What a goal, Kashishpal. What a goal from Eberechi Eze. And Arsenal needed that. They absolutely needed that. Newcastle started well, but game now in Arsenal's hand. Here's Guimaraes. Sven Botman now shifts it onto the left-hand side. Dan Burn. As it stands, it's 4 losses in a row for Newcastle if this stays as it is. So there's plenty of incentive for Arsenal to keep going. Joe Willock does well in midfield. Opens it up for Guimaraes. Arsenal win the ball back in midfield. Clever there from Madueke, but can't find Kai Havertz. Havertz getting his 2nd assist of the season. It's a roll-through pass. Eze does the lot, but in terms of the stats, it works in Havertz's favour. Newcastle looking for a response, but Newcastle's flanks, in terms of the fullbacks, they don't have the Lewis Hall or Kieran Trippier quality. Louis Miley is originally a midfielder, now having to play at right back, and Dan Burn is a centre-half by trade. So the wingers will actually have to hold the touchline, as Jacob Murphy now, with Joe Willock continuing his run on the right-hand side, smashes it up against Gabriel, and it's a throw-in for Newcastle. I was hoping to not put too much strain on my voice, but that Eberechi Eze goal was special, wasn't it? Miley will take the throw in. It's critical from Newcastle's point of view that they don't concede again. Arsenal with the 2-goal cushion, with Tonali putting the ball into the box, comfortable for David Raya, and it's a quick release attempt, but they quickly shut it down. I think that is Osula. Hopefully the referee doesn't give him a yellow card for that. Oh, come on. What is he supposed to do? He's standing right there. He just turns around. David Raya. That is poor from the fact that he's complaining. That's not nice. Anyway. Long ball forward. Havertz brings it down nicely, but gets Arsenal up the pitch. Well, for all of Kai Havertz's criticism, his hold-up play is night and day compared to Victor Gyökeres, so will help Arsenal play a lot better football and try and stitching things up in the final third. Yep, but when it comes to scoring those goals, being clinical, a lot to be desired. Here's Eze, full of confidence. Arsenal trying to pop it around, but they give it in midfield. Havertz trying the flick which Eberechi Eze tried to implement. Comfortable from Newcastle's point of view. The short corner routines really did catch, I'm sure, everybody by surprise. Almost like Arteta saying that I need to try something new. Oh, clever there. Brilliant play there from Jacob Ramsey. Gets out of a tight corner in sensational fashion. Here's Guimaraes. Switches it perfectly to Lewis Miley on the outside. Cross comes into the box. Headed away. Osula. On the outside against Madueke. It's a brilliant ball in. Well defended from Arsenal's point of view. Eberechi Eze trying to lead the counter-attack. Clever pass there. Declan Rice can't get there. Tonali fizzes the pass. It's brilliantly controlled there by Willock. Onto the right-hand side. Tonali, quick scan. Onto the right-hand side to Jacob Murphy now. Murphy delivers the ball into the box. It's headed away this time by Saliba. It comes back in. Arsenal can't get the ball away though. It's Sandro Tonali. A couple of extra touches. I think it might have come off his arm. Free kick for Arsenal. It's been a fun start. 15 minutes on the clock. There's going to be late drama, late action. Did see that in the relegation threatened games. Spurs getting a massive win, courtesy of João Palhinha, scoring in the 82nd minute from the set piece, coming in clutch. And of course, West Ham scoring in the 92nd minute. Callum Wilson giving a massive goal for West Ham. Spurs still in the relegation zone, but finally pick up a Premier League win. It's nearly 5 months into the year. Spurs taking a 1-0 victory at the Molineux Stadium. I mean, it's going to be a race to the finish, just like it is at the top. The last two teams, it's going to be between West Ham. Oh, it's a very good pass there. Havertz breaking the line, but Nick Pope plays sweeper-keeper. Here's Tonali. Goes on the outside, finding Bruno Guimaraes. Jacob Murphy's got a run on the outside. That is Lewis Miley. Decides to go to Willock. Now to Lewis Miley. Decent football this from Newcastle. They've certainly come to play. Not sitting back, giving the initiative to Arsenal. Willock. Clever. Ball into the box. David Raya with decent handling. Since the early scares, I think that was in the 3rd minute where Newcastle had both their attempts. Arsenal have kept a lid at the Newcastle front line. Both teams have got very decent options off the bench. I mean, they can certainly use them as the game will get stretched. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Got a run around the outside. Space does open up. Uses the option of Joe Willock. Good first start. Joe Willock with the strike. Straight at Raya. Good move there from Newcastle. Encouraging signs from the Magpies. Here's Saliba. Mendy now searching for options, keeping it short. From Arsenal's point of view, goal difference, they might have a quiet eye on it. First things first, they'll need to create enough daylight before they start thinking about it. Score goals, Arsenal. This is where you're going to have to score goals. Got Bukayo Saka, Victor Gyökeres, Leandro Trossard, Martinelli all on the bench as well. Good foundation for Arsenal to get all 3 points today. Rice carries the ball and just gives it to Odegaard. Just slows the pace of the game, doesn't it? I mean, both Rice and Odegaard could have made sharper decisions there as they puts the ball into the box. Newcastle now on the counter-attack. They certainly have something to say about this one. Rice with a good defensive block, but the ball goes straight back to Newcastle into the 20th minute. Arsenal courtesy of Eberiche Eze's 7th Premier League goal. That was at 5 against Spurs, 1 against Crystal Palace, and now 1 against Newcastle. Did I get that right? I think I did. Ooh, Arsenal pitched the ball here courtesy of Zubimendi. They've got plenty committed forward. Here's Odegaard for Noni Madueke. Madueke takes another extra touch. Noni Madueke takes too many touches. And then it's cleared away. Decisiveness in the box there from Madueke. He needs to just shift and shoot. Tries to do too much. Not going to get that kind of time and space in the box. 20 minutes on the clock. 1-0 to Arsenal. Here's Rice. Finding... Oh, that's so poor from Odegaard, man. Newcastle don't really have an incentive to win this game, barring professional pride at this point. They're not going to get relegated, but Eddie Howe will come under a bit of scrutiny come the end of the season. This is not where they were supposed to be 14th in the league. Here's Tonali. Dan Burn. Good pass there, but Arsenal try to win the ball back in midfield. Midfield has been pretty much 50-50. Both teams having their moments. Clever pass there by Dan Burn, trying to find the run of Osula. Osula trying to get in between Gabriel and Saliba will certainly be a task. Zubimendi looks long. Madueke bends his run and brings it down nicely. Madueke with the strike. The shot doesn't match the control. The first touch to bring it down is superb, but the finish, less said the better. Arsenal needs to do a little bit more in open play. Just a little bit more. Give Nick Pope a few saves to make. Odegaard, what a challenge that is. I think that's Sven Botman. Brilliantly on the slide, finding Sandro Tonali. Onto the left-hand side is William Osula. Osula, beautiful. He's going to get the foul and the free kick. Lovely shimmy, shake and step overs there from William Osula. Buys the free kick there. Saliba, the guilty party. That's the kind of trickery you will need to do. Try and get past one of the finest centre defenders in the game. Yep, got to be fearless when you're attacking Gabriel and Saliba. You know they're going to get the better of you, but try something different. Keep them honest. Arsenal needed a set piece to get the game broken open here. Will Newcastle try the same approach? It's got to be a ball in the box. Looking at obvious threats. Malik Thiaw. Dan Burn. Sandro Tonali maybe edge of the box. Certainly will be interesting to see how Arsenal do defend this. It's Bruno Guimaraes to deliver. It's well defended. Oh, Ramsey with the volley. It's as soon as it left his boot. It's never going to really trouble David Raya there. Again, it's a shot for Newcastle, but nowhere on target. Arsenal can't get cocky though. They know that even a draw is a killer result. Need to try and get the game done and dusted as quickly as possible. The longer it stays at 1-0, it's going to be nervy, man. I mean, I said pre-match, this is possibly the best team. I mean, apart from Chelsea, you want to play Newcastle at home. Considering the run of form they've been in, they've beaten Chelsea, but that game Newcastle played zero football. They got one chance, which Anthony Gordon scored from. That was a howler from Chelsea's point of view. Other than that, they had no intentions to come out and play. They've certainly done a lot better in that department. Arsenal popped the ball nicely though. Here's Martin Odegaard. Finds Donny Madueke. Madueke, clever pass. Odegaard went for the back heel. Again, Arsenal trying to just overplay in the final third. Martin Zubimendi who nearly got there, but it's Martin Odegaard who starts the move. A bit of trickery. That's the first time I'm seeing Ben White that far up the pitch. He's barely gotten any touches in that. It's primarily Noni Madueke doing the damage there. Here's Odegaard. Havertz. It's Eberiche Eze. Oh, clever pass. Slightly overhit. Comfortable for Pope. And Pope finds Dan Burn. Ramsey tries. Ramsey fails. Rice does very well, finding Kai Havertz. Makes the ball stick. Here's Noni Madueke. Havertz. Madueke again. Good football this from Arsenal, but again it's trying to do... It's... Can't fault them really. They are trying to unlock the Newcastle deep block. Here's Gabriel. Finds Zubimendi. You can see what Eze was trying to do, just slip Kai Havertz through to be 1v1. Pope goes long. Usula's never going to win that. I'm not sure as to what's the point of that, but it's almost like a release valve. Arsenal just looking to lock down a bit more pressure. Rice finds Odegaard. Ben White. It's the pace that Arsenal don't really mind. Just keep the ball, keep it away from Newcastle. That's a beautiful nutmeg there from Eberechi Eze. He's the guy who makes things happen, isn't it, for Arsenal? Can do something out of nothing. Remember that goal against, was that Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League? A turn and shoot into the top corner. And Mikel Arteta wants more from the crowd, and he sends Bukayo Saka to warm up. That's one way to get your fans cheering, roaring their number 7 on. Good ball there by Odegaard. Madueke. Again, decent movement, but final delivery just lacking. Comfortable for Sven Botman. Madueke having a much improved game considering the absolute horror show he served up against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Here's Saliba. Odegaard. Eze. Nice play there by Joe Willock, looking to carry his team forward. He's going to have to do a bit of that ball carrying. Does very well. Up against Zubimendi. Willock. Oh, it comes off Saliba. It's Newcastle's first corner. Well, into the 30th minute. Newcastle winning their first corner of the match. Malik Thiaw, Dan Burn. Obvious targets. Sven Botman certainly an aerial presence. Needs a brilliant delivery from the Brazilian skipper here, Bruno Guimaraes. Started the game very well. Guimaraes delivers, fires that in. Arsenal delivered. Don't defend totally. Ramsey puts the ball back into the danger area. Referee is continuing play on. Tonali with a great strike. Oh, unsettles Raya. And Raya will gather. Sandro Tonali using the sun in Raya's eyes. Just taking control of the situation there. A couple of touches and then bang, let's fly. It's got a late bit of movement. It's almost like Raya committed one way and then had to quickly make the adjustment, but it wasn't far away enough from his point of view, so still central. Oh, Arsenal give the ball away here, trying to overplay. Here's Guimaraes. Sven Botman forced to go backwards. Arsenal played twice before Manchester City travelled to the Hills Dickinson Stadium to play Everton away. Could be a favourable run. It's not going to be smooth sailing from City's point of view either. And space opening up in midfield here for Bruno Guimaraes. That's a risky strategy from Arsenal's point of view. Feeds it nicely. Here's Asula. Willock. Oh, he balloons it over. Poor effort. Willock feels that he's gotten a whack from Rice potentially. Sula does well there. Makes the ball stick. Gets his fellow attackers involved. The real moment of quality arriving from the Arsenal set piece though. Madueke took it short. Quick scan there from Erdegaard. It's clever there. They showed all three corners that Arsenal took short. And they showed that twice they did the same thing. The third time they played the dummy. The space opened up for Kai Havertz, who rolled it to Eberechi Eze. So, good work on the training ground, man. This stage of the season to try and come up with something innovative such as that. Break open a tight game. It was a quality finish from Eberechi Eze, though. There's a reason why he was there in the end of it. Arsenal have Kai Havertz on the deck here. Did have a long-term injury. Came back, I think, a month ago. And Mikel Arteta used Kai Havertz 3 games in a row as a number 10 in that Odegaard position. And Manchester City, and today he started as number 9. He's gone down without any contact. This could be game over. And considering this stage of the season, it could be season over as well for Kai Havertz. You don't want to speculate too much, but considering his reaction and the way that Gyökeres was immediately on the scene, Havertz does look disappointed. Yep, the reaction tells us something's gone there for Kai Havertz. He is walking off gingerly, his head's down. If there's ever body language in terms of disappointment and not knowing the severity of the injury, it's a huge blow for Kai Havertz. He gets the assist for the Eze goal, and he just strides off the pitch. Disappointed for Kai. Possibly walks straight down the tunnel as well. This could be really bad from Arsenal's point of view. Havertz applauded off. It's game over. Possibly season over, as Victor Gyökeres now, with 12 minutes remaining in the first half, joins with his side 1-0 to the good. Huge blow there for Arsenal. Their linchpin. But in terms of making things stick from a forwards point of view, Arsenal now getting to witness both their number 9s in action in the first half. I don't think there was a tackle on Kai Havertz. It's got to be something off the ball. See from his reaction, it's almost stone-faced. He knew something just popped or something went. It's really unfortunate as Arsenal look for the second here. Just after that Kai Havertz substitution. The Arsenal fans will want a bit of a lift before half-time. Newcastle, all they need is a goal to make this really uncomfortable for Arsenal. With 10 minutes remaining, huge blow for Arsenal in terms of their attacking firepower heading towards the back end of the season. Not just in the Premier League, but in the Champions League as well. Kai Havertz, looking at that reaction, did not look good. As I mentioned before, for all his faults in terms of finishing, he's there towards the end in terms of getting those chances. He's at the end of it. It's just that he's not been able to finish them this season. But if you look at his link-up play, the way that Arsenal play when... Look, the next... I'm going to give Victor Gyökeres till the 70th minute to see if Arsenal's forward play improves. Like with him as the number 9 leading the line. Because with Havertz, they looked relatively in control. Newcastle had that early 3-minute spell, but since then, it's been scraps. Arsenal have had control of this first half. And be very silly from their point of view to give anything away. All it takes is a moment, though. Arsenal are a bit of an emotional team. You do take the mold the image of your manager. Calafiori is warming up as well. No, Calafiori is not even on the bench. He's on the sidelines. Arsenal were hoping that Bukayo Saka could be fully rested here, but considering they've got Atletico Madrid and then Premier League action at the weekend, Bukayo Saka, beautiful bit of skill, nearly slips in the inch-perfect pass. Victor Gyökeres getting nowhere near it. Here's Joe Willock. Good pass there from Jacob Ramsey. Now finding Lewis Miley. Cross comes into the box, headed away by William Saliba. It's Dan Burn. He should not be there at the end of those chances, especially trying to chest and volley. Poor decision there. Here's Gabriel. Shifts it onto the left-hand side. Declan Rice now. Zubamendi, quick scan, check, finding Saliba. Arsenal need to up it up. They certainly can't keep this at 1-0. They'll have to go again. They need to score the second as quickly as possible. Here's Madueke. Odegaard. Zubamendi now. Ooh, that's a foul. I think that Saliba just nibbles into William Asula. I think that's Bruno Guimaraes rather. Guimaraes making the extra man run towards the box. Under 5 minutes remaining for Arsenal to try and preserve this half-time lead. Bit rash there from the Frenchman. Another set-piece opportunity for Newcastle. Again from open play, they have not looked threatening. I'm not surprised. It's not a team full of attacking quality from Newcastle's front three point of view. They've got Harvey Barnes, Nick Woltemade, Johan Wissa, all very viable options considering what the Newcastle front three have pretty much served up here in the opening 40 minutes. Quality from Bruno Guimaraes needs to be spot on though. He's slowly but surely growing into the game. Plays the game with a lot of passion, heart, full of quality as well. Bruno Guimaraes finds Tonali. It's a curious set-piece routine. know that Tonali's got a fearsome shot on him, but it's good there from Guimaraes. Bit of composure. Tonali looks to continue his run. Willock tries to find him in the outside. Saliba will be breathing easy now. It's been very little football after Arsenal scored, and since Gyökeres has come on, he's hardly had a couple of touches. Hey, what's up, Yash? I just saw you. I tuned out, man. Arsenal just boring me on the pitch, just looking for a bit of game management from their point of view. How you been, buddy? Need to have a call with you one of these days. Should have a group call. It's been, but still, Arsenal to lose the season. 5 games to go, Yashi. Arsenal had it in their hands and they let it slip. And now it's in City's hands. But as it stands, Arsenal go on top just, and they have the opportunity and I would say a fortune of playing again before City take the field. So an opportunity for Arsenal to put in a 6-point advantage would be very, very beneficial. Almost like a psychological boost. Since Gyökeres has come on, Arsenal's football has certainly dipped. And that's putting it very politely. Yep, they're struggling to keep hold of the ball. As I mentioned before, the difference in terms of their link-up is chalk and cheese. Night and day, man. Havertz, his link-up play is excellent. The runs he makes are very clever. 1-2 touch passing. Intelligent footballer. Victor Gyökeres, a lot more hustle and bustle, but doesn't have the same link-up level. But he is Arsenal's top scorer this season. Here's Willock. The 2 minutes of Added on time remaining in the first half. Newcastle certainly need to up it in the second. It's been relatively disappointing from them. Want to see the likes of Voltemada, Wissa, Harvey Barnes on the pitch. This front three cannot continue for longer. Would like to keep William Osula still on the pitch though. He's a live wire. Maybe put him on the left hand side for the second half. Bring in a more traditional focal point. Be that either Voltemada or Johan Wissa. Put Osula on the left and maybe something might be different from Newcastle's point of view. Here's Odegaard. Finds Declan Rice. Immediately swarmed by 3 Newcastle players. In the final minute. Well, in terms of thoughts, chances, it started off with Newcastle. I mean, first 3 minutes, couple of decent opportunities. Osula with an air shot after being released 20 seconds into the game. Bruno Guimaraes having a strike from distance over the crossbar. And then Arsenal started their set-piece routines. A complete change from their normal whipping the ball into the box. They took 3 short corners. 2 of them in a similar routine. The third, a dummy was involved. Space opens up for Kai Havertz, who rolled it off. But the strike from Eberechi Eze was special on its own, man. It needed something out of the ordinary to break open the Newcastle defense, who have been completely untroubled since Victor Gyökeres has stepped foot on the pitch. Final opportunity for Newcastle before the half-time whistle. Arsenal do have options on the bench themselves. Got Leandro Trossard, who put in that absolutely magnificent cross in the very last minute at the Etihad Stadium for Havertz. Into borrowed time here. Tonali delivers. It's a flat trajectory on it. Arsenal defend that quite comfortably, and the referee blows the half-time whistle at the Emirates Stadium. Eberechi Eze's firecracker of an effort. The difference between the two teams, Kai Havertz going off injured, and by his reaction it felt that the injury could be long-term. Commiserations to Kai, and from Newcastle's point of view, they can certainly improve in the second half, especially in the attacking threat. Eddie Howe must do better. The midfield has held its own. Arsenal need to keep it going here. Half-time, Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. Well, Arsenal can certainly improve in the second half. A 1-0 scoreline doesn't fill them with too much confidence. Well, goal difference aside, they need to win the game, and Newcastle, despite having their struggles in front of goal in the first half, all they need is one opportunity really to set the cat amongst the pigeons. A massive 45 minutes coming up here at the Emirates Stadium. Well, it did take a special Eberechi Eze goal to open the scoring. Arsenal might need to use that tactic again. In open play, they have struggled, and especially with Victor Gyökeres on the pitch, Arsenal struggled a little bit more. Kai Havertz pulling up. That could be his season done, considering his reaction, his body language. Really did tell us a story that possibly it could be an injury that rules him out for not just the season, but especially considering this part of the year. In World Cup, very close as well. Hope that Kai Havertz can represent Germany at least. Arsenal will be hoping that they can get him till the end of the season. Arsenal will want to keep the title race going till match week 38, that's for sure. Almost feels like Manchester City have the tougher games on paper, but their form suggests that no team is really going to cause them too many problems. Burnley caused them a few problems, but it was a very professional 1-0 victory. Erling Haaland back into his rhythm in terms of scoring big goals. Scored the winner at the Etihad Stadium against Arsenal. Scored the goal, the early goal at Turf Moor that ended up being the winner. A nervy 1-0 victory, but a victory that got Manchester City top. As it stands, Arsenal 3 points ahead of Manchester City, and the goal difference +1 in their favour. So a positive result as it stands, but a massive 45 minutes at the Emirates Stadium. In terms of scoring big goals, scored the winner at the Etihad Stadium against Arsenal. Scored the goal. And from Newcastle's point of view, they have to make changes. I mean, Eddie Howe cannot look at that front three and roll them out for the second half. We've got Johan Visser, Nick Woltemade, Harvey Barnes, all as viable options off the bench. On that left-hand side, we did see Jacob Murphy have a half-decent performance, but on that left-hand side, not much. Anthony Gordon, his direct running style, a huge miss for Eddie Howe's side. There has been a few summer links that Anthony Gordon might end up at the Emirates Stadium. Fee of what, 60, 70 million quid could possibly entice Anthony Gordon to North London. The season has been, expect him to possibly start for Thomas Tuchel on that left-hand side in the World Cup. 6 Premier League goals, 3 from the spot. Don't want to only judge a player from goals and assists, but he needs to certainly increase that production if he is to make that jump to Arsenal. Well, Victor Gyökeres is on the pitch, Arsenal's top scorer, but since he's been on the pitch for about 10-11 minutes, Arsenal couldn't really get anything going in an attacking sense. As I mentioned before, about the 60-65 minute mark, you can have a decent enough picture as to how Arsenal are playing with Kai Havertz, without Kai Havertz, and with Victor Gyökeres instead. The Arsenal fans will be nervy. In the goal score department, City still have a 2-goal advantage. The goal difference is +1 in Arsenal's favour. Such fine margin, such tightness at the top. Arsenal fans, they cannot believe what they've witnessed here, seeing their title race being dragged. The last 5 games, the City juggernaut refuse to know when they are beat. Well, the nervousness around the stadium will certainly dissipate once Arsenal get the second goal. It seems that the same team that ended the first half will roll out for the second 45 minutes. Fully expected that from Arsenal's point of view. From Newcastle's point of view, I'd be very surprised if Eddie Howe goes for the same here. Well, you know, it's taken a moment of magic really to open the defense. Other than that, it's been relatively comfortable. Nick Pope hasn't had to make too many saves. So Eddie Howe might give it another 15 minutes. The Arsenal Stadium will be in full noise, full support. Bournemouth and Manchester City will certainly be in the rear-view mirror from Arsenal's point of view. They have to go out there, minimum, take all 3 points. Might have to keep the energy low on this one until a goal happens, because I feel that my throat is going again. Chelsea do play Leeds tomorrow. It's going to be a comfortable game commentary-wise. I'm not going to get too excited, and if Leeds score, I won't be too surprised. Well, business to take care of here for Arsenal. 45 minutes to take their nose in front. Just 3 points ahead of Manchester City. It's getting very, very tight. 4.5 football games for Arsenal to end the season. The first half, just about effective enough. They need to do a lot better in the second. Eberechi Eze, he's been the linchpin for Arsenal. He's the one who can make things happen out of absolutely nothing. But Arsenal need to have a bit more cohesive play in the final third. Ben White on the right-hand side, seen very little of him. Piero Hincapié as well. Arsenal have pretty much reserved their fullbacks to keep the defensive shape. Zubimendi and Declan Rice, once again starting Premier League games. Zubimendi has started all Premier League games since his near £50 million move from Real Sociedad. Zubimendi loses the duel. Here's Malik Thiaw. Nick Pope being put under a bit of pressure. Arsenal do have a stacked bench. Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli all available for Mikel Arteta. It's a foul there by Zubimendi on William Osula. Osula had that chance, didn't it? I mean, can't call it a chance considering he doesn't make any sort of contact with the ball. But 20 seconds on the clock. Arsenal were cut open right down the middle. Osula gets any sort of connection on it. Could be a very different game. Here's Nick Pope. Eddie Howe not looking to rush it here. His team would be 4 losses in a row if the game stands as it is. Newcastle's last 2 victories, one coming at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in that 1-0 victory where Anthony Gordon scored pretty much at the only opportunity in the match. And of course the 2-1 victory at St James's Park against Manchester United. Giant killers. Here's Lewis Hall. Guimaraes fizzes the ball towards Joe Willock. Back to the skipper. Jacob Murphy having to check his run but can still deliver. I think the last touch came off the winger. Will be a goal kick for Arsenal. Kashish, 6-7 goals kahan se aayenge, bro? I think Arsenal need to just maybe have a shot on target first. 6-7 goals seems a little too much. I mean, have a few shots, man. Nick Pope has had a very comfortable game between the sticks. A few more shots. Score is not going to be 6-0. A 2-0 scoreline for Arsenal would be nice for starters. 3 minutes into the second half, Arsenal need to inject a bit more verve into their play. Here's Erdegaard. Ball over the top for Victor Gyökeres. Good defending by Malik Thiaw. Gyökeres trying to make something out of nothing. Does well, the Swede. Here's Nketiah. Finding Gabriel. Arsenal need to up the tempo. Ødegaard. Ben White. White getting forward. Madueke ignores the run. Finds Ødegaard again. It's a lot of sideways and backward passing from Arsenal. Saliba. Cross comes in. It's overhead for Piero Hincapié on the slide as he gets his header. It's woefully off target. It's not the best Arsenal attack, but they did manage. Oh, that's brilliant from Osula. How about him trying to run Saliba ragged? Brings Newcastle up the pitch. William Osula finally doing something really from Newcastle's point of view. Here's Guimaraes. Finds Lewis Miley on the outside. Newcastle yet to going in the attacking sense. Tonali on the right hand side. Here's Jacob Murphy. Patience from Newcastle. Heading into the 5-minute mark into the second half. Arsenal started decently well. Again, both keepers need to be tested though. Here's Thiaw. Murphy. Back to the German again. Newcastle almost playing with the back three here on the ball. Dan Burn as the left-sided centre-back. Sven Botman down the middle. And Malik Thiaw as the right-sided centre-half. Miley pushed up almost as the right wing-back. Left-hand side possibly. Joe Willock might be a makeshift left wing-back for Newcastle in the second half. Here is Willock. Having a run at Noni Madueke. Willock does well. Finds Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal pinned back here. Miley, right wing back, inverting into midfield. He is a midfielder by trade, so will be comfortable in those positions. Murphy, better from Newcastle. Here's Miley now getting more and more influential. Guimaraes, Miley continues his run. Oh, that's a terrible cross, but does find Jacob Murphy. Oh, what a touch. That is chance for Arsenal. Well defended by Saliba. Tonali reloads. Arsenal get away with it. Much better there from Newcastle's point of view. The offside flag had been raised, but encouraging signs there for the away side. Arsenal have already suffered one injury. The last thing they can afford is Eberechi Eze coming off. Hasn't gotten up. Going to have a bit of treatment here, the number 10. Arsenal have some big games coming up. That two-legged semi-finals against Atletico Madrid. That is going to be a chess match. A fiery encounter, that's for sure. It's going to be separated by fine margins, and Arsenal need their top players. Hey, Thomas Tuchel's in the stands. Great to see the England manager, former Chelsea boss. Got us the Champions League in Porto 2021. A day I'll never forget. I was in Sydney. It was, a 5 a.m. start? 6 a.m. start? Oh, it was sensational, man. Those kind of nights you never forget. Oh, seems that Eze will be coming off. Arsenal's injury woes compounded here. Kai Havertz in the first half, and now Eberechi Eze. From Arsenal's point of view, Eze is striding off the pitch, so it might not be too serious. It's a precautionary substitution by looks of it. Gabriel Martinelli. And talked about Arsenal's production in front of goal. Martinelli has one Premier League goal, and that was at home against Manchester City in the 96th minute or something like that, when Eberechi Eze found him with the ball over the top. Havertz and now Eberechi Eze, both down the tunnel. Arsenal need the players fit for the main push now, the main run-in. 4 Premier League games, possibly maybe 3 Champions League games. Need to go to the very end. Started off with hopes of a quadruple, and within a week it was all about the double. And after that game at the Etihad Stadium, Premier League hopes still there, but needing a few results to go their way. Arsenal have been very passive in the second half. Maybe Martinelli's introduction, and not in place of Eze. You want to see probably Eze as the number 10 and Martinelli on the left-hand side. Eze is a huge miss in the second half, especially if Arsenal want to get that creativity going. Odegaard needs to certainly step up. Saw him in the early stages, dropping in between the two centre-halves. That has stopped, thankfully, from an Arsenal point of view, with the midfielders taking a bit more responsibility. Set-piece opportunity. Do Arsenal have something up their sleeves in terms of something a bit more delicate, something a bit more inventive? As Declan Rice just going to whip it in for one of Gabriel, Saliba or Victor Gyökeres to attack this one. It's in the half space. Don't think it's an angle that might suit Martin Odegaard here. Odegaard might just pull rank, captain's armband and all that, but I think this one suits the Declan Rice delivery. Odegaard with the dummy. Rice delivers. Ooh, Newcastle don't defend with conviction, and it's a corner for Arsenal. It looked like the last touch might have come off Piero Nketiah. Newcastle defend deep enough. 10 minutes into the second half, Arsenal threatening with set pieces again. Yep, Nketiah was well onside. Was never going to get there, but made himself a nuisance to make sure that the last touch was going to come off a Newcastle player. Oh, it's not a corner, it's a goal kick. What Newcastle have done well is kept Arsenal at bay in terms of open play. Nick Pope yet to really make a save of note. That's got to change. That has to change, just to put a bit of fear into the Newcastle players. Victor Gyökeres has not gotten involved in anything so far. Here's Malik Thiaw. Goes for the long ball here. Should be easy work for Pierre Nketiah. Just over 10 minutes into the second half. Arsenal need a bit of injection of quality. Second half possession. Arsenal are not keeping the ball well at all. Yeah, second half possession concurs. 74% of the ball for Newcastle. Arsenal not able to get out here. Maybe need to play something short and get the likes of Donny Madueke driving at the Newcastle defense. Mikel Arteta prowling nervously along the touchline. Arsenal possibly want to just escape with a victory here. That Newcastle game can certainly be. Oh, that is so poor from Dan Burn, man. It's a blatant tug on Gyökeres. It's going to be a yellow card as well. Dan Burn will have to play the game on a tightrope. I think Lewis Hall needs to come onto the pitch here. That's poor from Burn. Can have no complaints. And once again, gives a set piece for Arsenal, man. From an experienced player, that is a rookie mistake. Rookie decision making. Another set piece for Arsenal. Donny Madueke is on top of this one. Might look to just slide that across the face from that 18-yard circle. Probably have a pop from distance. Gabriel making his intentions very clear as to where he possibly wants the ball if it's going to be floated inside. Zubimendi, I think he's got 5 Premier League goals. It's a very healthy return from a player who plays in a number 6 position. Arsenal do take it short again. Madueke with the strike. Poor, very poor. Madueke has to chase back and does well. And Arsenal, if they're relying on set pieces, they need to do more. Here's Declan Rice. Arsenal playing with a bit of fear. They need to just open up a little bit. Rice looking to switch the play. It's easily intercepted. Ben White, Madueke, possibly coming back from an offside position, floats the ball into the box. Nick Pope with a comfortable gather. Madueke's delivery needs to be much better. It's hit in hope rather than expectation. Decent flick on header there. Osula does very well. He's up against Saliba. Somehow gets the flick on header. Osula down the left hand side. Maybe Nick Voltemada or Johan Wissa as the number 9. Maybe a different dimension for Newcastle United. And Harvey Barnes on the left hand side. Keep Osula there. Maybe give a bit of running power. Midfield 3. Can they add a bit more? Can they be a bit braver maybe with just Sandro Tonali and Guimaraes as the midfield pivot? Ooh, Sven Botman with a late challenge. Here's Murphy. Tonali. Newcastle looking to be a bit more combative in midfield. Nketiah falls awkwardly on Sven Botman. Heavy boot on the back of his head can certainly knock a few stars in you. The 60-minute mark approaching at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal forced to make 2 substitutions. Havertz and Eze both coming off with injuries. Victor Gyökeres and Gabriel Martinelli in the place. Newcastle yet to pull the trigger in terms of subs. Eddie Howe looking to take this game as deep as possible. That might be a foul there by Nketiah. Newcastle looking to just get up the pitch now. It's been a much better second half. Territory, possession, favor of the away side. You can see Arsenal players certainly feeling the nerves. The balls in the box can certainly add a bit of chaos in the match. Dan Burn will be the first target. Guimaraes delivers. It's a wrestling match. Dan Burn gets the header. I think Lewis Miley will weaken the second ball. Forced to go backwards. Guimaraes shows a lot of composure. Tonali hits that over the top. I think the referee could have played advantage there because Guimaraes did look like he was fouled. Still on the ground there, the skipper. Arsenal continue here. Here's Martin Odegaard. Ronnie Madueke. Oh, Dan Burn just steals the ball off him. So much ease. But it's a corner for Arsenal. But Bruno Guimaraes is still on the deck. And now he's back onto his feet. Not sure whether that was the wisest move from the Newcastle skipper. Odegaard is saying the referee did not blow the whistle. I had every right to carry on. Another corner for Arsenal. Ronnie Madueke, his final third delivery has been really poor. He needs one to be right on the money here. Arsenal searching for the second goal. Arsenal have run out of ideas, to be honest. It's been a really poor second half from them. Just hitting and hoping, no patterns. It's been very little football from them. Could certainly play better football. I mean, there's been no link play, and finally, Harvey Barnes will be coming on here. I think he needs to make more than one substitution. Maybe Harvey Barnes and Johan Wissa, or Harvey Barnes and Nick Voltemada. Only Harvey Barnes possibly not going to make the difference, but encouraging that Eddie Howe finally making a sub. Guimaraes finding Malik Thiaw, who's Smiley looking to turn. Thiaw mops up. Nketiah, just comes off the arm of Jacob Murphy because he was on his way. Gives Newcastle the opportunity to make a substitution here. Newcastle have certainly grown into the second half a lot better. Again, the quality in the final third certainly lacking. Something that Harvey Barnes, yep, that's the move. I was saying it was not going to make any sense if Harvey Barnes was the only player coming on. Johan Wissa is coming on as well. Certainly it'll shake up the Newcastle attack. 50 million signing from Brentford, Johan Wissa. And Harvey Barnes, of course, formerly of Leicester. Leicester, of course, relegated to League One. Imagine that. 2015, they had their hands. 2015, 2016, they had their hands on the title. 10 years later, relegated 2 divisions. Football comes at you fast. That's very confident play there by Dan Burn. Striding forward with the ball. Newcastle waiting to make the double substitution. Here's Malik Thiaw. Arsenal playing a game of percentages here. It's risk-free football. Declan Rice, does very well. It's Declan Rice. Easily won by Malik Thiaw. Rice simply has to release Gyökeres. Or he has to shoot early. Osula now. His number might be coming up, but he looks electric. Here's Osula. His pass intercepted. And strike from distance by Tonali. Gives it a real ripper. 25 minutes remaining. Newcastle are not done here. The double substitution will certainly add a bit more pace and directness into the attack. Rice did well there, but could he release Victor Gyökeres? Instead, he goes for the shot himself. I thought about the shot, but Malik Thiaw just robbed him off the ball with such ease. Jacob Murphy not had the game of impact that he was hoping to have. It's disappointing to see Osula come off. I think he should have stayed on the pitch. It's Wissa and Barnes though. I thought William Osula did more than enough to stay on the pitch. Maybe play that front three, but it's gone with a like-for-like substitution with Johan Wissa, now the number 9. Different problem for Saliba and Gabriel. Throw in here as Dan Burn flings the ball in. Win the first ball and Gyökeres hooks that clear. Gyökeres looking to chase it down himself. Tonali can feel the Swede running down at him. And he does very well there, Gyökeres. Martinelli. Back to Gyökeres. Gyökeres getting involved for the first time really in the second half. Here's Zubimendi. Martin Odegaard again from much deeper position. Odegaard, man, what a waste he is. Just stays on the ball for so long and then doesn't release it. Gets intercepted. Madueke is offside. It's a shit show from Arsenal, man. They're not a good side attacking wise. They have no clue really. Look at the open play stuff. Lackluster. The early goal would have certainly settled them, knowing that Newcastle would have to come out and play and maybe Arsenal can try and nick it on the counter-attack in the second half. But it's been all Newcastle in terms of possession. Need to make Raya have a few saves though. That's got to be the next objective. Here's Malik Thiaw. Guimaraes. Miley making the run. Harvey Barnes, interestingly, on the right-hand side. Generally operates as a left winger, but Barnes can whip the ball in. Instead, it's Miley who does. Arsenal clear. Martinelli goes back to Declan Rice. Arsenal can't get out. They cannot get out here. It's all Newcastle in terms of possession. Second half is completely flipped. Arsenal now have to be very, very careful. They're letting the game drift into dangerous territory. Oh, it's a loose header. Nketiah on the slide. Arsenal making a real mess. You can sense the anxiety amongst the players, man. Something's gone off completely wrong. It's a free kick for Newcastle. Their fans will be certainly enthused. Arsenal played zero football in the second half. Not look like anywhere near in terms of getting the second. Mikel Arteta had forced to make a couple of substitutions due to injury. He'll be a very nervous man on the touchline. He knows the game is open. It's taken a special goal for Arsenal to score, but other than that, questions will be asked. Gimareish's set pieces have not hit the mark so far. Needs to get this spot on here. He's got plenty of targets. Harvey Barnes might be peeling off the far stick. He has Gimareish. Oh, that's terrible. It's probably his worst one. Straight into the hands of Raya. What a throw that is from the Spaniard. Finding Gabriel Martinelli. Look at Sandro Tonali, man. Wow. The ground coverage and the pace. Determination. Excellent. Here's Odegaard in the half space. Now Martinelli. It's got the overlap of Ben White. White has made a couple of overlaps. I mean, he doesn't have it in him. So the fact that he gets up the pitch and has been ignored twice, not helpful for him either. Arsenal looking nervous here. Very, very nervous. Odegaard. Oni Madueke. This is a game for Bukayo Saka maybe in the last 15 minutes to try and add the second. It's Gyökeres. Again, no conviction really. Nketiah. Declan Rice. Zubimendi trying to clever flick, but Arsenal now slowly growing back into the second half. Nketiah. Arsenal are really slow on the ball. They're going to get punished, man. Gabriel Martinelli commits the foul and he's going to get a yellow card. Again, what was that phase of play from Arsenal, man? Just playing it between themselves. The Brazilians on the scene of the crime there. Gabriel Martinelli, so poor. Do something with the ball. Martinelli loses it. Makes the challenge and he's picked up a yellow card. Needless. Arsenal look like a side that are going to win the Premier League. Feels like a real struggle watching them. Can't imagine from their fans' point of view, on the edge of your seat every game seems to be heading into this similar pattern. And Newcastle now winning the second balls. Victor Gyökeres since coming on has not had a shot. Neither did Kai Havertz really, but it's been a while since Gyökeres has been on the pitch. Here's Zubimendi. That is terrible. Zubimendi looking to just scoop the ball over. That is poor play there from the Spaniard. Comes from a slip out of absolutely nowhere from Gimareish. Mikel Arteta showcases his disappointment and turns that into cheer immediately the next minute. The second half has been some diabolical football from both teams. Arsenal have had more attempts but no attempts on target. It's been a 25-minute to really forget. I think Lewis Hall needs to come on as well. He'll certainly add a different dimension at left back. You want to replace Dan Burn, especially with Arsenal possibly chucking balls into the box at the end? Wait and see. Willock needs to do better. Here's Odegaard. Raya gets decent distance despite losing his balance. Odegaard. It's a clever touch there by Martin Zubimendi finding Noni Madueke. Here's Madueke having a run at the Newcastle defense. It's Zubimendi. It's another weak attempt. Again, no conviction. Even if that's on target, it's a P-roller. Have to do better with those chances there, Arsenal. The two attempts that they've had, it's really not trouble Nick Pope. Arsenal need to step it up here. Certainly is nervous territory. Game is not safe. You can forget about goal difference in this match especially. It's all about trying to secure the 3 points. Well, Nick Woltemade is stripped and ready for action. 6'5" attacker coming on will certainly add another change in Newcastle's makeup in terms of attack. Johan Wissa and Woltemade could be a two-pronged attack as Victor Gyökeres can run. And Nick Pope plays sweeper keeper and he's missed it completely, and that's possibly a foul. And if that's a foul, it's a yellow card. Nick Pope will be saved only because there are covering defenders. Yellow card from the ref. Nick Pope, that is absolutely shocking. Nearly hands the game to Arsenal. He's done it before as well. He's not a traditional sweeper keeper, that's for sure. Odegaard's ball over the top. Nick Pope he goes with the outside of his right foot as well, man. It's so bad. Oof. And it's a cynical foul on Gyökeres as well. So it's a deserved yellow card. Another set piece opportunity though for Arsenal. Going to check whether or not he's not denying him a clear goal scoring opportunity. I mean, there's a defender right there. There are defenders running back. It's never going to be a red card. Into the 75th minute though. The second half needs something, anything. I mean, it's been so dull. Woltemade will be coming on and he replaces Bruno Guimaraes of all people. Maybe Guimaraes. Need to load manage him. 15 minutes remaining. They're taking the skipper off. It's possibly been a bit negative substitutions from Eddie Howe. Taking off Osula. I'm not really sure about that decision, but he's got his two main centre forwards, Nick Woltemade and Johan Wissa, on the pitch now. Under 15 minutes remaining and a very nervous Emirates Stadium. Newcastle having more of the ball, Arsenal more of the attempts, but neither side getting a shot on target in the second half. Might set up a frantic ending, but these 30 minutes have really flattered to deceive. Arsenal just looking to limp over the line. Almost keep one eye on Atletico Madrid as well with the midweek Champions League semi-final. And Arsenal are going to bring on Bukayo Saka. Decide that the game is still too close. They want their number 7 to try and impact the match. Declan Rice delivers the free kick. It's a decent delivery, but nobody gets any sort of contact on it. Pretty much sums up Arsenal's attack, even in set pieces. That's a decent delivery. Rice has every reason to question why nobody's making the run. Well, Saka is going to come on. It's possibly going to be a like-for-like substitution with Noni Madueke. Again, Madueke, 50 million quid. I mean, thank you from a Chelsea fan to take him off our hands, but even we were surprised, man. How could you spend 52 million quid on Noni Madueke? The returns are simply not there. The performances, I wish him well, but you know what I mean. Don't really see it coming, man. What, 2 seasons at Chelsea, now at Arsenal? Is it really going to happen for him? Arsenal have to cut their losses as quickly as possible with him. Dan Burn wants runners. Johan Wissa is certainly a willing runner, and he tries to make something of it. Johan Wissa can't be more than 5'6", 5'7". Nick Woltemade, interestingly, won't be the centre forward. He'll be playing as that number 10. Here's Saliba. It's a risky strategy because there were 3 Newcastle players in those central positions. Could have been all activated for the counter-attack. Risk and literally no reward there from Saliba's point of view. Here's Madueke. He knows that his number's coming up here, trying to make last push forward. Dan Burn has had a comfortable game against a much more pacier and trickier winger. Here's Odegaard. Weak from Odegaard. Very weak. Newcastle secured the ball. Relatively no resistance. Here's Sven Botman. Victor Gyökeres certainly made himself a nuisance. It's a throw-in for Newcastle. They'll sense that they just need an opportunity. One chance. Arsenal are playing this game on fine margins. They're leaving it late. Joe Willock. Beautiful switch out there for Harvey Barnes. Lewis Smiley continues his run. Newcastle have a lot more potent attacking players on the pitch now. Here's Barnes. Nketiah does well. Newcastle can still make, I think, a couple more changes. I'd like to see either Lewis Hall or Kieran Trippier coming on. A bit more threat from the wide areas, especially with now Nick Woltemade on the pitch, having someone like Kieran Trippier on the outside with that right foot, whipping those balls into the box. Sometimes you got to go old school. Here's Tonali. Dan Burn now. 80th minute. Nervous, nervy energy at the Emirates Stadium. Here's Joe Willock, the former Arsenal player. Woltemade, clever clip. Johan Wissa blasts it over. That was a chance. Here's the offside flag raised. It isn't. What an opportunity that is. Brilliant from the two summer signings. Clever. Oh, he's onside. He's miles on. He has to score. He's on the stretch. That was the opportunity Newcastle were looking for. And it's ballooned over by the Congo centre forward. What a pass that is from Nick Woltemade. Delicate. Mikel Arteta knows that could have been the title. Done. Newcastle are not done though. That is all the motivation they need. Brilliant from Woltemade. Beautiful scoop pass. 80 minutes on the clock. Zubimendi and Madueke are coming off, the two summer acquisitions. Poor games from both of them. Even Zubimendi, man. Especially in the second half. You're a controller. You're a Spanish controller. Midfielder. I saw none of that. It's the Hale End boys with 10 minutes remaining, looking to try and salvage this game for Arsenal. Almost see it out rather. Saka and Lewis Kelly. Lewis Kelly will be in midfield. And Bukayo Saka, a like-for-like substitute with Noni Madueke. Very interesting to see Declan Rice and Miles Lewis-Kelly as the midfield pivot now. Johan Wissa will certainly want to make amends. That was the opportunity, man. Here's Martinelli though. Immediately picks his head up and finds Bukayo Saka. Here's the substitute. Bukayo Saka just drags it wide. Might have taken a deflection. Immediate impact there from the number 7. Looking to just shift and shoot and find the bottom corner. Dan Burn will certainly have a different task on his hand now. 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Arsenal fans would have seen that Johan Wissa chance and had their hearts in their mouth at that moment. But they do play percentage football. The free-flowing attacking Arsenal do not exist under Arteta anymore. It's all about trying to get over the line. Set-piece goal here. And the stadium could just collectively breathe. It's been nervous energy. Rice delivers the free corner. Decent ball in. It's well cleared. Oh, what an effort that was. Gabriel Martinelli with the acrobatics. It was straight at Pope. Gets a lot of power on it. Oh, very good strike there from Martinelli actually. 8 minutes plus stoppage time remaining though. Is that Arsenal's first shot on target in the second half? It just might be. Took some acrobatics after some brilliance in the first half from Eberiche Eze. Here's Malik Thiaw. Tonali. Thiaw again. You can see the idea. Decent touch there from Jacob Ramsey. Ramsey holding the width down the left-hand side. Him and Willock still trying to cause problems for Arsenal. Here's Tonali in the base of midfield. I think Tonali has been the best midfielder on the park, both defensively and the ability to drag his team forward. Here's Thiaw. Woltemade linking up nicely on the right-hand side. Lewis Smiley. Harvey Barnes now looking for options. Cross comes into the box. Dan Burns' headers on target. Good work there by David Raya. Dan Burn, the left back. Look at that. Brilliant engine from him to keep his run going. Hung nicely towards the back stick. Dan Burn, all using his 6'6" frame. Gets a solid enough contact on it. Here's Saka. Martinelli. Finding Lewis Kelly. Saka again. Oh, that might be a foul. It isn't. Play continues. Odegaard for Victor Gyökeres. It's a good block there by Sven Botman. Again, Arsenal forced to go wide in terms of the attack. It's another corner for Arsenal. Looks like they're going to do this with set pieces if they're going to go over the line. Well, the Eze goal was certainly a banger. A goal fit to win any game of football. Arsenal's sixth corner. Bukayo Saka with 6 minutes plus stoppage time remaining at the Emirates Stadium. Looking to kill this game off here. Newcastle have certainly made a fist of this contest. Not laid back, they've not laid down. Gone till the very end. That Johan Wissa chance. What a massive moment in this match it was. Ben White's on the deck. Dan Burn wants quick resolution. Get on with it. Get on with the football. Need to see a fiery finish. Malik Thea with a very blatant push on Ben White. The second half could have been a bit more exciting, and if Johan Wissa's goal, the shot finds its way into the back of the net, it certainly would have been a grandstand finish. 5 minutes remaining. Arsenal have just successfully eaten a minute away here. Saka delivers. It's got height and a bit of whip on it. But Dan Burn wins the header. Declan Rice trying to go around Dan Burn. Dan Burn using his wealth of experience to win the free kick for Newcastle. Arsenal living on the edge. Declan Rice picks up a yellow card. Anthony Elanga is coming on for Newcastle. The final roll of the dice from Eddie Howe. Joe Willock had a decent game. I think some of his touches were good, the way he looked to link up high up the pitch, but now a completely different profile, which means that Elanga will be on the right hand side, Harvey Barnes on the left, and a two-pronged attack of Nick Woltemade and Johan Wissa. Newcastle are going all out. It's going to be Tonali and who's the other midfield? I think Jacob Ramsey, yep. It's all out attack from Eddie Howe's men. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. They're 14th in the league before kickoff. I think the loss would keep them at 14th. And the win here for Arsenal, temporarily top. Elanga immediately loses the ball. Here's Nketiah. Oh, that's a very poor pass there by Nketiah, but Gabriel Martinelli does secure it. Oh, Arsenal's passing is just very poor. It's almost like they're just gagging for the full-time whistle. Let's get us out of here. Here's Bukayo Saka. Saka with a couple of step overs. Odegaard in the half space. Martin Odegaard draws a save off Mike Pope. It didn't have the power nor the height to really trouble the goalkeeper from there, but it was a fizzing effort there from Martin Odegaard. Trying to find the bottom corner. Just cuts across it. Might have just snuck into the near post. 3 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Arsenal taking an age before every set piece, man. Get on with it. Saka delivers. Gabriel can't get his head on it. Harvey Barnes. Lewis Kelly with an important touch. Odegaard finds Bukayo Saka. Looks to put that into the face of goal. Johan Wissa gets the touch, and the last touch comes off the Arsenal skipper. Another wasted attack there from Arsenal's point of view. Well, Arsenal as it stands, well, they go 3 points ahead of Manchester City. But that goal difference might come into play now. We're talking about how Arsenal just had to focus about getting wins on the board, right? 2 minutes plus stoppage time away from an ugly win, but a win that stops a 2-loss streak Voldemort has certainly been very nice since coming on. Nketiah on the slide. He's made a mess of it. Wissa, can he get a shot away? It's a real mess at the back. Arsenal get the free kick. Newcastle looking to just chuck bodies into the box, play some thug football. Good run there by Nick Voldemort. Nketiah's slide. Oof. Could have very easily broken for Yohan Wissa. To see how much stoppage time will be added on here. Arsenal will be hoping with 30 seconds plus stoppage time remaining to just somehow seal the game here. Look at the Arsenal fans, man. Cannot even enjoy a victory at this stage. Just so nervous. They're going to get over the line. It's going to be with shaky knees, that's for sure. Here's Tonali. We're into stoppage time finally. This game could not finish any earlier, and it's 7 minutes of stoppage time, enough time for Newcastle to get at least one opportunity, maybe even two. Here's Thiaw. Nick Pope, he certainly had a nervy game. Did make a couple of decent saves though. Oh, it's poor quality from Newcastle's point of view. They've got a front four. They need to try and find them with a lot more regularity. Now onto the right hand side. Here's Gabriel. Oh, that's so poor from Gabriel. He just gives the ball away under no pressure. Here's Tonali. Good bit of acceleration. Finding Dan Burn. Burn had a decent header which was on target. Didn't have the venom really as Ramsey pushes the ball onto the left hand side. I think with all the changes made, if you just added Lewis Hall or Kieran Trippier as one of the fullbacks, Newcastle might have had a different attacking dimension. Underlaps, overlaps, fullbacks really do make such a huge difference. Arsenal score from a set piece. Will Newcastle do the same? Burn flings this ball in. Raya with an easy grab. Don't think he'll be in any rush here to release the ball. He does though. Finding Declan Rice. Rice with a heavy touch, but pushes it forward. Piero Nketiah up against Anthony Elanga. Elanga is too quick for him. And that side is slightly exposed. Voldemort does well. He's fouled. Well, Gabriel and Saliba have certainly had a different profile of attacker to deal with now. Voldemort did well on that occasion. Gabriel has to be careful. We saw that against Manchester City where he could have very easily picked up a red card. By the letter of the law, that was dangerous play, and he's missing 3 games out of the last 5. VAR did Arsenal a huge favour. 4.5 minutes remain. Arsenal crawling over the line by the looks of it. Here's Tonali. Ball flung into the box. They win the first header. Well, play continues. Everybody just stood still for a second. Here's Tonali again. Finding Anthony Elanga. He's got fresh legs. Might go on the outside. Tonali full of running. Elanga goes on the outside brilliantly here. Elanga not fouled. Good challenge there by Nketiah. And what a pass that is from Piero Nketiah. And now Victor Gyökeres can pick his head up to find Bukayo Saka. His pass is poor. He needs a bit of fade on it to find Saka. Good work there by Jacob Ramsey on the cover. That should have been Arsenal's opportunity to kill the game off. Here's Avi Barnes. Tonali. Newcastle need to be patient. They know a chance is coming. Elanga again can run at Hincapié. He's got the overlap. Uses Miley. You want to see your £50 million winger take the fullback on, especially a fullback who's played 93 minutes. Tonali delivers. Decent flick on. It's cleared away by Hincapié. Again, can Anthony Elanga take a little bit more ownership? I mean, the Arsenal fans cannot bear to watch by the looks of it. They have been dragged emotionally throughout the season. 3 minutes away from holding on for dear life. Oh, that's terrible by Malik Thiaw. Odegaard, Mikel Arteta trying to spring the crowd up. Would be big 3 points from Arsenal's point of view. Just win their games. Worry about goal difference later. So nervy, man. Oof. To be an Arsenal fan. Look at them. They're top of the league and they look miserable. Well, 2 minutes of stoppage time remain. I, for one, would be very glad for the full-time whistle. This game has been a real dampener in terms of a footballing contest. Here's Thiaw. Is there going to be some drama, though, at the end? Miley delivers the ball in. Good defensive header there by Ben White, but Newcastle keep the danger alive. Dan Burn with the captain's armband. Ball fizzed across for Sandro Tonali. Thought about the blast. Deflection. Corner for Newcastle. 90 seconds of stoppage time remain at the Emirates Stadium. This is as nervy as it gets. Tonali looking to take the responsibilities on his shoulders. Went for the drive and shoot. Took a deflection. Thought about taking the corner as well. Newcastle have got some real targets in the box now. Nick Pope thought about coming but sent back. Nick Woltemade, Dan Burn, Thiaw, Botman all in the box. That's a terrible, terrible corner. It is absolutely criminal. I think that's Anthony Elanga, was it? So poor. Ball recycled though. It's real panic stations from Arsenal's point of view. Declan Rice making a full sprint run. Gets there ahead of Miley. Rice does very well to shield the ball and then put in a ball into the box. Wasted effort there from Rice's point of view. 30 seconds remain. They're still not home and dry yet. Mikel Arteta wants last bit of effort. Look at the Arsenal fans. They can barely watch. They are not ready for a title race, man. It's all about getting the job done. Arsenal have just about managed to do so. It's taken a real moment of quality by Eberechi Eze. Other than that, Arsenal attack has flattered to deceive. Oh, Piero Hincapié is committed a needless foul. It's a free kick for Newcastle in borrowed time. This is certainly the last chance of the match. Why Hincapié has gone to make the challenge? Well, we saw the last corner, which was really poor. Tonali does the right thing of taking control of the situation. Mikel Arteta almost can't watch. Nick Pope this time is in the box. It's a bit of confusion. Look at Bukayo Saka. He doesn't know what's happening by the looks of it. It's all about the delivery though. Tonali has to get this on the money. Tonali delivers. It's flatter. It's well cleared. And the referee does blow the full-time whistle. Mikel Arteta celebrates. It's a massive 3 points. It's not pretty, but that's all about getting the 3 points from Arsenal's point of view. And they get the job done. Eberechi Eze's fizzer of a drive in the first half has turned into the winner. It is a magnificent goal from Eze. Fit to win any game. It wins this game for Arsenal and gets them 3 points ahead of Manchester City. Full time at the Emirates Stadium. 1-0 to the Arsenal.